Saskatoon, okay? His name is Seafood Sam. That was the name of the restaurant, and the Saskatoon Blades would bring him down to coach the All-Star or the intra-squad game, and he'd start brawls. And
I remember
Mona
hearing the story about Daryl Lubanicki. They told the guys no more fights, and so all of a sudden there's a fight, and then they drop the puck, and then there's another fight. There's another.
He's coaching the intra-squad
One
game.
kid had fought 3 times, so Daryl Lubanicki said, "I'm going to put an end to this." And he walks around the rink, and he comes over to the kid who's had 3 fights, and he says, "What in is going on around here?" And the kid says, "That Chinese guy keeps sending me out to beat out of that." So he had to go to this Seafood Sam, who was this little 5'2" Chinese fellow who owned their local restaurant.
Seafood Sam's.
And tell him to knock it off.
No more fights.
That's that. Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
We're downtown on the weekend, downtown Toronto, and I was about to turn right when in the rearview mirror I noticed a cyclist coming right by, hit the brakes, narrowly avoided hitting him. He turned, waved at me, said thank you. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was a near-death experience. I thought I was going to end up in the news.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
I got so much going on today, you wouldn't even believe it. Happy April Fools, everybody. Get on up inside. Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show coming at you here on the Game Plus television network, where we also air in 32 U.S. states, plus nationally in Canada. And we're streaming. And Moose is with us. He is in, where the hell is he today? I think he's in Toronto. Happy April Fools, man. Did anybody... It's kind of my first point. It's going to be, spoiler alert, the first point of the Quick Six is, did anybody get you today? Because somebody got me today. For reals. How about you?
Really? No.
Yeah.
Nobody got me. I know you're going to get into yours probably, which is pretty good. But who got you? I'm curious.
Okay, well, listen, patience, Grasshopper. The guest today is Sportsnet's iconic broadcaster, Arash Madani, out doing his own thing now. After 17 years, it's going to take me a minute to not say Sportsnet's Arash Madani. Will be with us in hour 2 to talk about what's next in his illustrious career. That's hour 2. And I guess, boys, do you want to hit the Quick Six show horn and we will get I've been going back and forth with the Panthers, just so you know. We got a really big game tonight in Montreal, and that is my 5th point about what may happen tonight between the Montreal Canadiens and the Florida Panthers. I'm talking with Moles right now, and I'll explain that later. So my phone's blowing up. But April Fools, happy April Fools. It's my first one topic here, Darren. A friend of mine, Daryl Jones, you never met him, but he Edge Arizona group. And it was one of the first things I saw this morning, okay? I opened it up, and he goes, I would like to announce that Jonesy, as he refers to himself, has been hired by Hockey Canada because of the success of my daughter's hockey team. I think she's like pee-wee age in the Massachusetts area. Because of the success of this minor hockey program I've been running, I've been hired by Hockey Canada to emulate our success. And I'm like, way to go, Jonesy. They got a great one. And then I'm like, I don't even know how long it took. I had to go back and delete my comment. I'm like, go. Daryl Jones, by the way, played for the Weyburn Red Wings. He's a Canadian. He's a great guy. But he got me. And I was on guard for the rest of the morning. And then somebody, not me, a guy by the name of Jeff Sidian on Twitter tweeted that I was the next commissioner of the CFL. And that got some legs. I shared it, and we're having some fun. And it's been blowing up my phone on that. So I've had a fun morning. How about you?
Yeah, they haven't got me on it. I saw it. I saw you post it again on your story, and I'm like, oh, you've had some really classics. I think we should, spend a minute on this. You've had some classic April Fool's lines over the years that maybe the rest of the country or the North America might not get the relevance, but especially back home, they definitely did. And I thought the commissioner one was good, and it got me thinking that would have been a really good one to drop is, you know, who the next commissioner was going to be, the press release of the commissioner of the CFL. People would have actually bid on that for sure. But I think you got to tell everybody about your 15 minutes as commissioner of the CFL, your executive order. I thought that was good.
Let's have some fun with a few. Number one, it's a hyper Saskatchewan-centric thing because I was on the air there for 30 years, you know, in that wonderful province that I love so much. But we had fun. We had the hockey rink called the Agridome. That's its actual name, the home of the Regina Pats. When all the new rage, like 30 years ago, was the naming rights of teams, of arenas, we said, oh, Macintosh Computers. Remember them? Macintosh Computers, before Apple, has bought the naming rights of the Agridome, and we're going to call it the Mac Arena.
How about that?
And people lost their minds. And then we said that the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League was getting an expansion team owned by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and they were going to be called the Roughriders, and they were going to play in the Cooperators Arena. All these big money guys were calling me up going, how do we get in on this? I want to be part of that ownership group. I'm like, check the calendar, bro. Don't. So stuff like that.
Oh, no.
So I put on Facebook that if I was the commissioner of the CFL, I would sign an executive order effective immediately that all halftime acts for Grey Cup have to be Canadian. Of course, it spawned this huge debate on Facebook. And could we keep it fun? Because the other day when I was going to the Panthers game, Friday night, I was listening to whatever channel it was, and Corey Hart's Sunglasses at Night came on the radio here in Sunrise, Florida, and I was like, dun, dun, dun. The walls would come down at Princess Auto Stadium in Winnipeg if Corey Hart was playing halftime this year. I don't care. I don't care the era. I don't care how old you are. Good is good. Corey Hart would rock that place, man, wearing his shades at night. I digress. Back to me being the commissioner. Some football guys here were blowing up my phone in Florida going, hey, can I be your attaché? If you're the commissioner, can I be like your right-hand man? And I said, you can be the director of officiating. And the one football guy said to me, firing all the refs. First thing. I said, well, you run the department. You can do whatever you want. I'm sitting there, Darren, do commissioners have that much power that you could say, all Grey Cup halftime acts Canadian? Boom. Whatever you want. I think I want to be the commissioner now. I never stopped to think about it until today.
I know, right? I don't know if the commissioner can actually sign executive orders and just, this is happening, or if it has to get passed. I'm sure they could put something and get passed by the owners, and then boom, it's part of the league forever. And you would just put the fine print in there that when I'm gone, this is going to be so hard to undo this executive order. You know, you got to find all the founding members that signed the original bill, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, man, it could be fun.
Well, I feel like I've never had power in my life. I've never had it. So we had fake power today, and I'm like, whoa, this is fun. So anyways, moving on. Rich in Edmonton writes in, and he says, Kevin Carius started his morning show on Sports 1440 this morning saying McJesus will be out the rest of the season. He got me. That's the thing. Ooh. You got to be real careful with this stuff. You got to Oh, I can see Carrie is doing that. I wouldn't go that far. Mine are usually fun things. That ain't fun. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta. I can't make the show today. I have an interview for CFL commissioner. Be back tomorrow. Okay. In Calgary writes that he says, how long do we have to endure hoaxes on this show? We don't. We're moving on. But it's been fun. And I'll just tell you, 902. And we don't have enough fun in our life. 902-518-3033. Because, Darren, people are pushing back on me in this Canadian halftime act thing. And I'm like, I'm the commissioner. So whatever I say goes, bro. Stand down. Wow. I've never talked like that before. It works. Okay, point 2. Yegor Sharangovich scored the only goal in the shootout to lift the visiting Calgary Flames to a 3-2 NHL win over the Colorado Avalanche on Monday. I mean, I talked to my kids like that, but they didn't listen. I feel like when you're the commissioner, they have to. You know what I mean? Or you're out.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with your kids? Throw them out? Ryan Lomberg and Adam Klapka each had a goal and an assist, and Dan Vladar made 28 saves for the Flames, who trailed 2-0 heading into the third period. They've had 5 comeback wins in their last 7 games. The Flames moved to within 5 points of the idle St. Louis Blues, who hold the second wildcard berth in the West. And Matt Duchene and Wyatt Johnson scored first period goals. And the visiting Dallas Stars edged the Seattle Kraken last night 3-something. Doesn't matter. They won. There's a comment that has come in here on the Progressive Insurance text line from Trevor in Red Deer. He says, "Good morning, Rod and crew. Go Flames, go. Nobody thought they'd be playing meaningful games in April. It's a long shot, but let's hope the boys make the last 9 games count." I'm really interested in tonight's games more so, but last night, what grabbed you?
Yeah, I mean, that Western Conference playoff race was tight, and it feels like it's not. And, for Vancouver and Calgary, falling back. And I mean, most of this I think we have to give credit to St. Louis and what they've done, the heater that they've gone on. They never traded Braden Shen at the deadline when there was talk. They never traded Jordan Binnington at the deadline, which there was talk. When you go all the way back to the offseason and the offer sheets for Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway, I mean, it was for this moment. Dylan Holloway has been unbelievable in the second half of the season since Christmas. Been really, really good. St. Louis gets into the playoffs. That is not a team I want to play in the opening round of the playoffs. It's the St. Louis Blues.
Because they'll be on a roll. And maybe their GM, Doug Armstrong, should get a lot of consideration for GM of the year based on what he's done. I don't know who it's going to. It should be Bill Zito. Usually with these awards, they're a year behind. But it's funny because Jim Nill won it last year from Dallas, and they didn't win squat. I feel like they should vote at the end of the playoffs, but they never do. And pretty sure they're not going to listen to me. From Derek's Positivity Injection podcast, he writes in, he says, "Hey, Rod, if you were hypothetically a CFL commissioner, who would be your top 3 halftime music performance requests?" Well, number 1, it would be Corey Hart, just because I listened to him the other day. And again, he still looks like he did in 1987, and I saw him play at Buffalo Days in the Agrodome. So it would be like 1987 all over again. Somebody was saying, none of the kids know who he is. Nobody knew who the country acts were they had at Mosaic Stadium a couple of years ago for half. So what? Why are you fighting with me? I'm the commissioner. What I say goes. We might as well throw a Shania Twain in there again. And, well, how about you? You're part of the show, Darren, a huge part of the show. Corey Hart, number 1. Shania Twain, you?
I got 2. I'll give you that. If we're Canadian, I would like Loverboy and April Wine.
Ooh.
Those would be my 2, because they would rock. If April Wine came out, just got everybody with patio lanterns, and then came into Roller, it would be, oh my God, be unbelievable.
How about that?
Who do you think sang Patio Lanterns, bro?
Or, sorry, Kim Mitchell. Kim Mitchell, not April Wine. April Wine was Roller.
Okay.
Kim Mitchell.
This is why they voted.
This is why
they voted me the commissioner.
Hot take.
Yes, go for a soda.
Listen,
I just submit the ballot. You filter, make the decision.
Derek, by the way, has added The Watchmen. Okay, fair. John in Edmonton writes in and says, "Good morning, Commissioner Rod. How's it going?" Oilers will. Sorry, Rod, you're wearing the wrong shirt. Well, just so you know, one thing about these late regular season games for the teams that are going to be in the playoffs, the Golden Knights, I don't really think are striving for a pennant per se. They're tuning up and getting ready. Same story for the Florida Panthers, because as I said, if you joined us late, I was just talking with the Panthers this morning. I'm not going to get into their game plan tonight for Montreal, but everybody's going nuts that they lost to the Habs on Sunday, blah, blah, blah. That's not the focus. If you want to get all geeked up about tonight's Oilers game in Vegas and who's going to win, go ahead. Darren and I will make our picks later. But these aren't the games that need to be won. By the way, Jeff the Stamps fan writes in, just for clarification. Or did you delete your comment, Jeff the Stamps fan? Oh, here it is. So you wanted a CFL-XFL merger, are a proponent for U.S. expansion, but the halftime show has to be Canadian? That's what I'm saying. And if you can't follow along, I'm surprised you're watching. But that's me. I get that I'm unique. It reminds me of one night, Greg Zahn and I were out for supper at a place called Hemingway's in Toronto. Do you know where that is, Darren, since you are a Toronto guy? Hemingway's in Toronto?
I don't.
And me and Zani. And I made my order. I said, can I get a loaded pizza, deluxe loaded pizza, hold the onions. She's writing it down. And then, and an order of onion rings, please. She turns, walks halfway to the kitchen, stopped, comes back. She goes, hang on. You ordered a loaded deluxe pizza, hold the onions, but then a side order of onion rings? Yes, I did. Just checking. So I feel like my edict for the CFL isn't as confusing as that. But again, I'm the commissioner. What I say goes. The poll today for EMJ Marketing. Transform your audience with a keynote speaker from EMJ Marketing's star-studded roster. Check it out at emjmarketing.com and look up Joe there. What's the best trade in the NHL? I heard a guy saying this year. I heard a guy on NHL radio the other day saying that the Patrick Laine trade to Montreal from Columbus is the best trade of the year. But there are some other good ones. Seth Jones, I would suggest to Florida from Chicago. Paul Maurice was talking about how Jones played 30 minutes the other night. Seth Jones to Florida, Patrick Laine to Montreal, and I threw in Mikko Rantanen to Dallas because they're doing great things there. He's been traded twice. Who would have thought that? Or other. And because it's the RP show, I'll go first. It's Laine. Watched the game here Sunday. He scored on the power play. I don't know if you saw it or not. He almost took Bob's head off. Bob was literally ducking out of the way. An Ovi-style goal, a Brett Hull-style goal. Laine has completely changed the complexion of that franchise. For me, it's Laine, as much as I'm a Seth Jones fan of what he's done here. Do you have a thought on that?
The Laine one's really good, and he loves the fit there. At least it seems like it. Fit. I'm a big believer in fit, and Laine seems to have found a nice home in Montreal, which is great. I'll say Rantanen for the fact that they made the trade and did what they did, and they've been playing good hockey. All of a sudden, they're the Stanley Cup favorites. Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence. They get the best player available. They become the Stanley Cup favorites. They're playing great hockey. So for me, I'll say the Rantanen trade for Dallas.
Cool. The Derek's Positivity Injection podcast writes in. He says, thanks, boys. You guys rock. Rod for CFL commissioner. Make it official. I'll sign the petition right now for Rod. By the way, I think I got too much personality for that job. Nothing against commissioners, but I mean, Roger Goodell, Gary Bettman, even Randy Ambrosie, do they seem like a lot of fun? No. Nice guy. They're all very nice. Fun? And Derek also says Neil Young for halftime. Not a Neil Young fan, but what I will say this. Did you know, he married Daryl Hannah? The hottie from Splash? I was looking her up the other day because a movie came on with Daryl Hannah. Do you remember Daryl Hannah?
I'm going to look up Daryl Hannah.
Okay.
In the break.
Dude, guy, pretty shiny. But married to Neil Young? That's what her Wikipedia says. That's what Neil Young, as far as I'm concerned, is famous for, marrying Daryl Hannah. It doesn't make sense to me, but it is April Fool's. We haven't even touched on football yet. Serious stuff. We will when we come back. Plus the Major League Baseball story. Tonight's NHL games. We'll be right back. You are watching the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network, streaming and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Honky Tonk legend Mark Chestnut. Celebrating 35 years of music. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
We're rocking and rolling in the warm-up here. Let's bring the moose in. Doug Dirks. I love the people that are watching and writing into our social media channels as we go. That's kind of what I envisioned here when we started this show 1,466 episodes ago, Darren. Doug Dirks, the iconic Calgary CBC broadcaster, has written in and said, Rod, can you be the CFL commissioner but not live in Canada? And I said, or what did he say? Do you have to live in Canada to be the CFL commissioner? I said, no. And he rolled back and, okay. And you know what I thought, Darren? You think you can keep us out of Florida? Not happening.
How about that?
And my friend, Brad Hersina, military guy, is watching, and he agrees that it should be Shania Twain every second Grey Cup. And I feel like we're not going to get a lot of pushback on that. And I also appreciate Gary watching in Winnipeg. He says Canada 5, Sweden 2 after 4 ends. Sweden has the hammer in the 5th. Hurry hard, signed Gary from Winnipeg. Okay. So to football now. We're only on point 3 of the Quick 6 show topics here. Football. The future of the tush push won't be decided today, according to a source. NFL owners have been set to vote on Green Bay's proposal to ban the play that's helped the Eagles win one Super Bowl and reach another, but the proposal wasn't tabled until May. Team owners approved modifying the kickoff rule today, expanding replay assist, and revising overtime rules. The decision to postpone the tush push means the debate will continue as the league seeks more information about the safety of the play. You and I were speaking about this morning. I'm enjoying the coverage out of Palm Beach. I'm enjoying all of the coverage, although a lot of it is malarkey, right? Mike Tomlin saying, oh, we don't have a problem with Aaron Rodgers taking his sweet-ass time. Lying through his teeth on that, I would think. But this tush push stuff, I was sick of it months ago. And I've talked to my football people, which regard me as one after so many years working in it. It's called tandem blocking. It's illegal in Canadian football and has always been illegal in Canadian football to the degree that some guys try it because they don't know that it's illegal. Usually it's Americans because you can do it in the States, right? In a CFL game. But it's illegal. That you can get behind the ball carrier. It doesn't necessarily need to be the quarterback. In the Eagles' case, it always is. But you can't push the ball carrier from behind. It's illegal in the CFL. Why is this so hard, Darren, for the NFL to figure out?
Yeah, you and I talked about it this morning, and then I started looking into it and looking it up. I'm watching the coverage too. I'm watching ESPN this morning, and they're talking about the tush push. It's on the table for rule change and all the rest. And you're right, tandem blocking in the CFL is that they call tandem blocking in the NFL when two offensive linemen are blocking one defensive lineman. That's a tandem block in the NFL. In the NFL, they changed the rule actually to allow the pushing back in 2006. You still can't pull a player for it, but you can push. In the CFL, you can't do either. I'm curious. I don't think they'll change it because nobody else can do it. Nobody else has figured it out. And because one team is doing this to an advantage, and it doesn't matter if anybody can stop it, if every team's doing this and it's a clear advantage across the board for offenses and defenses can't stop it, the rule will change. But right now, I think the Eagles are the only team that's executing this with any degree of success. So until everybody else catches on.
Yeah. Other teams are trying it, but not successfully. So let's ban it. You know, the childishness of the discussion is what's entertaining to me. Mike Tomlin, again, said it. I watched the coverage with him, and you might have too. You said you were watching Get Up this morning. He just goes, it's an innovative play, okay, that nobody's been able to figure out how to stop. I admire that. That's what Tomlin said. And, you know, furthermore, as the de facto commissioner-elect of the CFL for today only on April Fools, I'll stick my chest out and tout something here. The CFL's rules are infinitely better than American football rules, and they always have been. Ask really any American, because Mark Trestman, who's coached at the highest level in both leagues, I saw a quote from Mark Trestman, former coach of the Bears, as you know, and the Alouettes and Argos. He goes, whoever designed this game, it's designed beautifully, the CFL. And that's why I get really upset when I hear the pontificators now that don't put any thought into anything saying we need to change the Memorial Cup format. Yeah, well, come up with something better and get back to us. Because the guys that put that in decades ago were smart guys. And just like the CFL rules, they're ahead of everything. And the one thing about the NFL that I've heard, because I've never worked in it, but that the decision makers are fairly arrogant. That may or may not surprise you, Darren, and they don't want to admit that they were beaten or not first on anything. The fact that they adopted the XFL kickoff is actually earth-shattering. And as we sit here and talk about modifying the kickoffs, and they did modify the regular season playoff format today. They did that in the NFL. So kudos to them for at least saying, hey, we could be better. But somebody said, if you want more returns, adopt the CFL returns. I don't think you could in the NFL, and that's simply because of field size. Their field is too tiny. There's no way you could adopt any measure of what the CFL does on return. Deal or no deal.
It'd be really tough. It'd be really, really tough. And the idea is kick it into the end zone or they kick it out of bounds. They're so good at that. But yeah, moving the touchback to the 35-yard line, if that's the case, that would really, create a little more skill in the position. But the overtime rules are good. They're going to narrow it to 10-minute overtimes, but allow each team to possess the ball in the regular season. So those overtime playoff rules come to the regular season, added the 10-minute overtime. And then I think there's some expanded replay coming in. So a couple tweaks, but they're always changing the rules. You said that, I don't know if it was last week, as a broadcaster. Nobody changes the rules more than football, man.
No, and you realize that when you're trying to broadcast the games, it's a real pain in the ass. And I never knew if the fans, listeners were right or not. They're like, Rod, you should know this. You're the broadcaster. I'm not a ref. I'm not a coach. The coaches don't know the rules. Just so you know, the refs are friends of mine. Oh, my God. I could sit here and tell stories forever. As you know, I was brought in to be a guest speaker along with Mike Pereira at the Canadian Football Officials Association banquet a number of years ago. The Mike Pereira. And the refs had better stories than we did. I don't want to name any, but his initials are Ron Barse. Remember that name? He's still a CFL ref. When they kept changing what plays were reviewable or not back in the day, he's like, I'm standing on the sidelines like, psst, coach, you can review this. I'm not going to tell you what coach it was that didn't know. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to embarrass the coach. But I'm supposed to know. I'm just supposed to call the plays. I'm not even the analyst. My color guy doesn't know. The coaches don't know. This actually happens, just so everybody knows. That's why when the NHL GM meetings were here in Florida a couple weeks ago, and Bettman stood up before the media when it was over and goes, no rule changes. I'm like, thank God. Hockey doesn't change the rules unless you put a gun to their head. Oh, the poll question is for EMJ Marketing, just updating it. What's been the best trade in the NHL this season for EMJ Marketing? So far, the Patrick Laine trade from Montreal, 35%, which I'm pulling for Patrick Laine because he went in the player assistant program. I think one thing people need to understand, whether it's important or not, I have been informed there was no substance abuse involved there at all. Patrick was dealing with a deeply personal, troubling issue. It was that's what it was. It was a personal issue not related to substance abuse, if that matters to anybody. He's got another chance in Montreal, and he's making the most of it. 35% of respondents saying the Laine deal was the best. 34% say other, but nobody's bothered to say what trade that might be, other. 27% say Mikko Rantanen to Dallas, and 4% say Seth Jones to Florida. And I think that's why that's trailing by so much is you guys don't watch the Panthers. Watch tonight and what Seth Jones does, because he played 30 minutes the other night. I don't believe that the Panthers got him knowing that Aaron Ekblad was going to be suspended for 20 games a week later for the PED violation. I just have a tough time believing that would be a thing. I need to just hang on. Down boy. Down boy. I know I got going on the CFL, NFL thing, but the CFL fans are just going off. And I want to talk about hockey here for a second before we switch to baseball, of all things. I missed you, Darren. You weren't on with me yesterday, so we've got a lot of things to get to.
No.
What do you think about tonight? You probably weren't watching Sunday, or maybe you were. I don't know. Montreal was here in Florida. Habs win 4-2. They've won 4 in a row over the Panthers. And on the buzzer, Nico Mikkola pulls a Hansen brother move, and from his own faceoff circle, slaps it down the ice head high. Okay? And all the Montreal players went after him like it was a damn senior hockey game in Avonlea. Trust me, I know. I've been in those skates. And it was dumb. And Ed Jovanovski on the television broadcast, personal friend, defended him. I know you have to. On the payroll, you have to. But do you expect any... He got fined, Mikkola got fined $5,000 Monday for it. Just a stupid thing to do. Do you think there will be anything come out of it tonight? Because the two teams are meeting again tonight in Montreal.
Yeah, I think Wi-Fi is going to probably tap his number. However you say his last name. I think he's going to get the number. He's going to Yeah, exactly. He's going to take the number. I think there's going to be something there. I think you're probably going to have to answer for it. Maybe not. The fine was appropriate from a league perspective. The fine was fine. He clips somebody, though. It gets worse. Then there's a suspension. But the fine was okay. And we'll see if Jack Guy will take care of him tonight.
I swear to God, if you were watching that, I couldn't believe what I saw. I'm like, he's not. His windup, like I said, he's 6'7", legit, before you put him on skates. And I'm like, he's not going to, right? And no, he did. Sailed it. And did you see the Montreal players? They dropped their hands like, what are you doing? And it reminds me of a Friday. It's just like a rec game, dude. It's like a rec. This is the National Hockey League. What are you doing? And there was a guy that we played rec hockey. Who's calling me? Oh, one of the coaches of the Chiefs. I'm on the air, Dave. Anyways, rec hockey game. Tell me, you never saw me before I went through all these hours to wind myself down. There was a guy by the name of Sandor Jerkovitz. He was always shooting at my head. And I told him, we were playing in the Al Ritchie. I said, you shoot at my head one more time, you're going to pay for it. He's like, I always shoot high. No, I know you do, and I'm telling you not to, or you're going to wish you didn't. He came down the ice. Next shift, snaps a shot right between my eyes. I duck like this. It's rec hockey, Darren, okay? We're not sitting here playing in front of 20,000 people. He smiles, and he skates the other way. And, hey, there's 40 other guys were there watching, so they can. I took my stick like a helicopter, and I threw it tunk, off the back of his head. Then he got up and looked at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, I told you. Do it again, and you're going to regret it. So tell me who's in the wrong there. Please tell me who's. I was not found to be in the wrong, just so you know. What do you think?
Good. You gave him the warning shot.
I told him.
And then, you set a proper expectation, and reality met the expectation you set. Nothing wrong there.
It was a hell of a throw by me, by the way. My goalie stick looked like a boomerang. And it went like in slow-mo. Thunk, thunk, thunk. Right in the back of the head. Down he went. We'll be right back. We haven't even got to baseball yet. We got a lot of things on the go on April Fools. We'll be right back here live on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasting, wherever the best podcasts are found.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Honky Tonk legend Mark Chestnut. Celebrating 35 years of music. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hour one is for Culligan Water. Drink clean, live green, filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit CulliganRegina.com. On my tour of CFL cities, I can't wait to get to Regina as one day commissioner-elect of the CFL. Let's bring the Moose in. I'm having a great day. Please, nobody ruin it. And if nobody knows what we're talking about, it's April Fool's Day. A gentleman, Jeff Sidian is his name on Twitter, went with a joke that has been named the commissioner of the CFL, and frankly, it feels good. So I'm just going with it. Don't anybody ruin it. Okay, Moose, before I switch to baseball, do you have any thoughts on any of the topics so far?
No, let's go to baseball, man. I'm ready.
Okay. There's some fun stuff here. Andres Jimenez had 2 hits, including a home run, scored 3 times and drove in a run. And starting pitcher Bowden Francis gave up only 2 hits over 6 innings as the Toronto Blue Jays defeated the Washington Nationals 5-2 at Rogers Center for their 3rd win in 5 games. George Springer and Alejandro Kirk also had 2 hits for the Jays, who out-hit the Nationals 10-5. We are on Canadian television out of Game Plus in Toronto. So the Blue Jays are our focus, but I got a few other things here that I would like to add. Dodgers won again. They're off to their best start since they moved to LA, 6-0. I wonder how many games they can win. The Yankees torpedo bats are selling like hotcakes. Apparently, Davis Schneider, the Blue Jays, has been using them for a while, was a report that I heard this morning. And the Oakland A's played their first ever game in Sutter Health Park last night. Their relocated home in Sacramento while they on their way to Vegas. They're couch surfing. The Oakland A's are couch surfing. Okay, on the way from Oakland to Vegas. They're staying at a buddy's house in Sacramento for a couple of years. Did you see the highlights of that game out of Sacramento? But people were trying to poo-poo the stadium, including our friend Zig Fracassi, who was scoffing at it. I'm like, this looks like a fun little joint.
I thought the Oakland A's were gone. I thought they were done already. So, they're not in Oakland. They're going to couch surf. I like that term. That's pretty funny. It's kind of insult for the fan base to go through it, I guess, whatever. But they got to play somewhere, and it is temporary. It is very much has a feeling of like the Mullet Arena thing, in Phoenix. But you know what? Once you bought into like, this isn't permanent, it's temporary. It's fun, like going on vacation, sleeping on the floor, like making a tent in the living room. Like it's fun for a few nights, not full time, but just enjoy the little tour to Sacramento.
Well, I feel like you got to have a little year's experience under your belt to look at things that way. Yet people that are older than me complain more than me. So it's not just an age thing. Point being this, what you just said, Sutter Health Park. Go watch the highlights. They crammed 12,000 plus in there. A lot were sitting on the grass. Now, the A's got bombed 18-3. That's the tough part by the Cubs. And we should be talking about the Blue Jays, but for a second, we're going to talk about Sacramento and the Oakland A's. They all wear number 24 jerseys in honor of A's great Ricky Henderson prior to the game. It looks like fun. I think it would be fun. I now use all these CFL references, but I remember those Toronto Argonauts coaches when they had to sleep in the Atco trailers under their desk because the team was ostensibly homeless back in the day. Kenny Miller told me those stories, their former offensive coordinator. And I'm sure it sucked at the time. But then they look back and go, dag nabbit, that was fun. Just like Jim Barker on Friday talking about coaching the XFL in 2001 on the way to winning the championship. I'm sure it was a pain in the ass back then. But Jim said on Friday's show, God, it was fun. That's what this will be in Sacramento. Can you take the experience and just take it for what it is and make the most of it? Because I feel like the A's players are. But did you see the media bitching about the fact that they built a shed to do the news conferences in? Look at what the media has to deal with. Oh, my God. Guys, I'm tired of the bitching by everybody. And you say I bitch about bitching.
I know. It's, you know what? It's true. Like, just relax. This is what it is. This is what it is. They're moving to Vegas. They're not going to be listening to any of your recommendations, any of your suggestions on what this is, if this is good, if this is bad, if this is whatever. This is what it is. And then they're going to go to Vegas. Okay. And the media will either go with them or they'll stay behind. You know, that's just the way it'll go. So whatever. I mean, this is keeping me up 0 nights and, you know, enjoy it. I mean, they're on the grass, they're doing the thing, they're having fun. Yeah, they're camping. I think it's okay.
Our viewers pulled me right out of the grumpy ditch and right back onto the happy highway. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes and he says, how come we don't see any real good April Fool's jokes recently? Because, Wayne, go read my commentary right now at rodpeterson.com. You can read it every day. Because COVID killed it. Because everything was so crazy back then, nobody was in the mood for April Fool's jokes. And the problem is, even though COVID largely ended, at least the hysteria of it did, nobody's mood improved. Everybody's still pissed off all the time. So if you try to pull somebody's leg, they're going to bite your head off. So that's my read on it as a guy that had some of the most elaborate April Fool's jokes of all time. We're too afraid to, you know, get canceled because of an inappropriate joke. Do you have an answer why the jokes aren't what they used to be?
That and social media, because you all, like, if you know it's an April Fool's joke, just chuckle to yourself and be happy you never got duped. But everybody wants to jump on, oh, it's April Fool's, look at the calendar. So you post something, and within seconds, somebody's like, look at the calendar, and now they're going to see the comment, and you're not going to get anybody. So typically, and that's a problem in the world, we always ruin it for everybody else. We ruin things for everybody else naturally. So for me, COVID and people ruining it for other people.
Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. I have to carry these comments over to the next segment because there's something else that I wanted to get to here with Moose. The Milwaukee Brewers conducted a moment of silence before Monday's home opener to honor broadcaster Bob Uecker. When one fan decided keeping quiet wasn't the best way to pay tribute, the spectator instead shouted, "We love you, Ueck!" Fans, players, and executives simply couldn't hold back their appreciation for the colorful character who died January 16th at the age of 90 after broadcasting Brewers games for the last 54 years. So on Sunday afternoon, I was watching the movie Major League. I was saying that yesterday, but you weren't on the show with me. Do you understand? I get why we loved that show so much as kids. The language is abhorrent. Which, as bad as that, like F-bombs everywhere, I can't believe what was... But the inappropriate, politically correct... Let's just remember that the team name was the Cleveland Indians. The references made in that movie, how in 2025 is it still being shown? I was not offended, but I'm just sitting there going, I haven't watched this movie in 30 plus years. I forgot. And of course, the reason I bring that up is because Bob Uecker was Harry Doyle, and he was like this. He was the star of the show. Come on, we all loved Jake Taylor and Willie Mays Hayes and Roger Dorn and the Wild Thing, Ricky Vaughn. We loved them all, right? Well, Bob Uecker stole the show.
Bob Uecker stole the show. You know, he's got his little broadcast student sitting there riding shotgun. Well, what do you think about this?
That was Marty.
Dynamite drop in.
Color guy.
Dynamite drop in, Monty. Those broadcast classes are really paying off. You know, like I thought, and here's the thing. I wasn't a baseball guy. I wasn't even a broadcast guy when I'm watching this movie as a kid. And until like for decades, I thought Bob Uecker was like, I thought he was just an actor and a really good one and a funny one. I thought he was an actor. I'm like, how come this guy hasn't been in more movies? How come he's not, you know, haven't seen him in other things? I didn't realize, no. he was just in that role. He was a broadcaster by trade in baseball. That was really, really talented and
a
yeah,
ball
one
player.
of the greatest roles.
Oh my God. I hadn't watched the movie for so long, and you're sitting there reciting all the lines. Oh my God. I want to say, I think I like Major League better than Slapshot. Certainly neck and neck. Anyways, we're having a blast today. Moose, smoke break time. See you in hour 2.
Later.
Arash Madash is coming up in hour 2 as well. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
It's what we call a mini overtime here. This is one of those days where I wish we had more time. April Fools, somebody got it going, not me, that I'm the next commissioner of the CFL. People are actually believing it, and I said my first executive order would be it has to be a Canadian act for halftime, effective immediately. Chad's watching in Los Angeles. He writes it. He says, RP, got to go with some Trooper, Rush, and if Gord Downey was still with us, the hip. Unreal time in Hockeywood, fellas. 2 Kings games, Dodgers game, and a stadium tour. Kings game, practice today, and Zamboni factory tour. Well, you have fun, and thank you, Chad, for fitting us in. He's the guy that came up with a commemorative RP show bobblehead. Appreciate you for doing that. Rich in Edmonton regarding, I said Major League's up there for with Slapshot for me. He says, blasphemy, Rod. Slapshot still the very best. Can I 1A and 1B? I'm a baseball guy now. Did you forget? Wayne in BC wondered, why did April Fool's jokes die unless they're really good ones? And John Ohm says cancel culture killed April Fools. Are we officially announcing it? April Fools is dead. I don't think it's dead. It may pull a Hulk Hogan, foot on the bottom rope, but I hope it's not dead. Heavy Jim sports updates. The NFL is planning a Christmas Day triple header this year. After the success of last year's 2-game slate, the first 2 games will be on Netflix, and the third will be on Prime Video. How about that? All on streaming.
How about that?
Braves outfielder Jurickson Profar has been suspended 80 games for violating MLB's PED policy. The 2024 All-Star tested positive for a banned substance called chorionic gonadotropin. Easy for me to say. If Aaron Rodgers is going to play in 2025, the Steelers appear to be his most likely destination. The free agent quarterback met with the Pittsburgh coaching staff over the weekend and had a throwing session with new Steelers wideout DK Metcalf. Moose and I will address that more next hour when he returns after his smoke break. 5 Canadian teams are in action tonight across 10 NHL games. The Montreal Canadiens host the Florida Panthers, while the Ottawa Senators entertain Buffalo. In the West, the Flames, 5 points out of a playoff spot, visit Utah. The Oilers take on the Pacific Division leading Vegas Golden Knights, and the league leading Winnipeg Jets face the Los Angeles Kings. We'll be making our picks as well. The sports headlines brought to you by Heavy Gym. They aren't just about lifting weights. They're about lifting your spirit, your strength, and your potential. Step into the gym that's changing lives. Find out more at heavygym.ca. And also brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, The Monkey. When twin brothers Bill and Hal find their father's old monkey toy in the attic, a series of gruesome deaths start. Dun, dun, dun. Starring Tatiana Maslany. The Monkey in Landmark Cinemas now. We've got one more break at the top of the hour. Fill up the Progressive Insurance text line, please, if you don't mind. 902-518-3033. Thank you, Gary in Winnipeg, for the curling update. Canada 6, Sweden 3 after the 6th end. I'll be able to breathe easy now. We'll be right back after this quick break.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
legend Mark Chestnut. I'm gonna get alive. Celebrating 35 years of music. I just wanna hold you close. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. I'm all boom, boom, boom. June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We're downtown on the weekend, downtown Toronto, and I was about to turn right when in the rearview mirror I noticed a cyclist coming right by, hit the brakes, narrowly avoided hitting him. He turned, waved at me, said thank you. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was a near-death experience. I thought I was going to end up in the news.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes it is. Thank you, Rick Regan. Thank you, Rick Regan. I'm having a great day. Please don't anybody ruin it. April Fools. No, not April Fools. Moose almost ran over Arnold Schwarzenegger. And let's bring him in from Toronto. That's a fact. We've covered a lot of things today. We've deemed that cancel culture has killed April Fools, or at least the best part of it. Paul is watching in Humboldt. He writes in and he says, can I just say that with fake news, it sometimes seems like every day is April Fool's. That also is in my commentary today. There are so many things going on that are so unbelievable. Just go with it. Every day is like April Fool's. But Moose says nobody's got him today. And aren't you just a big grumpy pants that nobody got you with an April Fool's joke today? You're just too sharp for all of us, Moose.
I guess I'm just too sharp. Or somebody got me so good that I still don't realize they got me. Like, like a piece of NFL news or NHL news, Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any of that today, but Rick Regan, the big voice guy, hit one of his sound effects, please, Clark. This guy, Rick Regan, hit one of them. Yeah, that guy, Rick Regan. He congratulated me on being named commissioner of the CFL. He actually did. Watching from Wichita, Kansas. That was one of our viewers, Jeff Sidian on Twitter, put that out there this morning. Congratulations, Rod Pedersen, for being named commissioner of the CFL. And there's a lot of people going with it. And to be honest, I kind of like the feeling of it. But with so many other things going on, boys, can you hit the quick 6 show horn and we'll re-up to everybody what we've been talking about with the show horn? I'm not going to sit and talk about what I would do if I was the commissioner of the CFL, besides signing an executive order effective immediately that all Grey Cup halftime acts must be Canadian, and it's a hill that I'm willing to die on, and I'm the commissioner, so what I say goes. I've never had that kind of power before in my life, and I'm going to be honest, it feels good.
Hot damn!
But there's a lot of NHL notes that we got to get to. NFL meetings are going on in Palm Beach, Florida, just down the road from here. The tush push will not be voted on today. Aaron Rodgers is being discussed. Major League Baseball, the Blue Jays are on a run. They've won 3 of 5. They got the Nationals in there again tonight. First ever MLB game was played in Sacramento last night, the Sutter Home Park. Sorry, not the Wine, Sutter Health Park, which Dwayne Sutter told me at a golf tournament in Calgary that's these Sutters. Sutter Home Wine is them, or at least a shirt-tail relation. I don't know if that was an April Fool's joke or not. And then NHL tonight. So we have a lot of things to get to. I'm not going to debate all the CFL stuff because there's more important things to get to. And our poll question today is this for EMJ Marketing. EMJ Marketing will transform your event with the perfect keynote speaker. Look up their roster at emjmarketing.com and look up Joe there. What's the best trade this season in the CFL? Running away with it, Patrick Laine being dealt from Columbus to Montreal. That's what the voters are saying. Other is number 2. Number 3 is the Dallas Stars acquiring Mikko Rantanen from Carolina. And number 4 is the Florida Panthers acquiring Seth Jones. And if you don't, I think you guys are sleeping on the Seth Jones trade because he is now on the top defensive pair with the Panthers. And bless you, Moose. But hey, that's what it's a free country. Vote for whatever you want. But I don't even know what the other would be. What would the other be? I can't think of any others.
I know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head where the big acquisitions have been this year. Those were the big ones. It was a very active trade deadline. Like you could talk about Dylan Cousins going to Ottawa, maybe. You really like that? That was a good one. I'm waiting for Clark to jump in with some of his big trades. It definitely wasn't Scott Lawton to Toronto.
Brennan Carlo to the Leafs. Okay.
We don't know if it's Marchand yet. We don't know, right? How that's going to play out.
I was going to say, I just blurted out he hasn't even played yet, but he actually has played 2 games. He played Friday here against Utah, set up the overtime winner on a Sam Bennett goal, and then played against Montreal on Sunday. But it was funny because Paul Maurice said after the game here Friday night that Brad Marchand dominated in the game. And I'm like, ooh, I didn't see him dominate, but I did see him set up the winner. What do you got?
Brock Nelson to Colorado.
Okay. Sure. Hey, we're throwing all our ideas on the table. We're throwing our ideas on the table here.
Yeah.
Ryan Thomas watching in the Queen City writes, and he says, Laine has 30 points in 48 games. How is that the best acquisition? His stats are not all that impressive. Well, maybe it's because I'm looking at things from a Florida perspective. The Panthers can't beat them. They've lost 4 straight against the Habs, and they meet tonight at the Bell Center, and Laine has completely transformed the team. He's quarterbacking the power play. I watched them play twice here. He's completely transformed the team. But, Tommy, if we're all about stats, then, hey, I guess you're right. I don't want to argue. Kirk in Toronto writes in and says, hey, Rod, I'm announcing today that I'm leaving Florida to become commissioner of the CFL and will announce shortly a 10th franchise that will be located in Halifax with the nickname Schooners. Happy April Fool's Day, Rod. Oh, only if it were true. Hey, I appreciate the people that are in support of me being the commissioner of the Canadian Football League, and there have been people writing in here saying, hey, Rod, when's the announcement on the 10th franchise for Atlantic Canada? Here's your announcement. It's not happening. There's your announcement. So will you please stop bringing it up? Now it's just in their craw, Darren. They'd like to see me get worked up. But like I don't even know what more evidence you need to know. I was having this discussion yesterday with... No, I'm not. No, I'm not that dumb. Rich in Edmonton says, Laine went through a hell of a lot, obviously, so those stats are pretty darn good, all things considered. Oh, yeah. Tell Tommy. He doesn't care. They'll probably win Comeback Player of the Year, the Masterton Trophy this year, Patrick Laine. But because he's not a point a game, he must suck. If not Laine, who would be the Masterton leader in the clubhouse this year? I can't think of any. No,
nobody's jumping right. Yeah.
Probably let's go with whatever the Leafs did. Oh, you guys are a real special bunch, Moose. You know that? Okay.
What did I say?
Picks tonight. No, you're just part of it. It's called guilt by association. No, you're just a Leaf fan, so you have to wear it all. Okay.
I'm an accomplice.
Are you ready?
Yep.
You're an accomplice. That's right. That's exactly it. Breakaway bets for the National Hockey League games tonight. Just so you know, I'm leading 151-148. But you still got time. Not a lot of time, but you still have some time to come back and win this thing. Otherwise, you'll be buying lunch at the Golden Corral, which reminds me, when we were here and we went, I paid. Did I not?
You
feel
did.
like I did. Yeah. But it's only $13.99 a head. People wonder why we love the Golden Corral so much. Let's
3
reflect.
cents per popcorn shrimp.
Yeah, well, I had three steaks, one taco, and 2 pieces of red velvet cake. It was the greatest meal of my life, all for $13.99 at the Golden Corral. I don't know what I'm going to have the next time when you're buying. Okay, Florida at Montreal tonight. Who do you have to win?
I got the Panthers. They'll figure out the Canadians.
I'm taking Montreal.
How about that?
And do you know why? Because they need it more. I honestly believe that. Washington at Boston tonight.
Capitals.
I'm with you on that one. The Nashville Predators at the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'll go first. Blue Jackets.
That's what I wanted to do too. I'll go Predators tonight. I'll go Preds.
Okay. You don't have to.
I know.
Buffalo at Ottawa. Buffalo at Ottawa. Who do you like?
Ottawa.
Yep. Me too. Are you using that vernacular, that same thinking as me because they need it more? Because it works.
Yeah, and they're playing really good hockey.
Tampa Bay at the New York Islanders. The Lightning are really on a heater, and I do think they really want to finish first. Bolts for me. How about you?
Yeah. I think this is the opposite. I think the Islanders actually need this more, but I'm going with Tampa. They're so
they
good
need
right
it
now.
more, but they're not playing like it. Yeah, the Islanders aren't playing like it. Detroit at St. Louis. The Blues are after a 10th straight win tonight, and I think they'll get it over Detroit. I got the Blues. How about you?
I got the Blues too, and I think a win tonight really, really. It doesn't eliminate the Flames and Canucks, but man, it makes it hard.
Oh, speaking of, Calgary's at Utah, and I'll go with the Flames. They just have a certain je ne sais quoi going, Calgary. That means I don't know what. Calgary for me.
Yeah, I'm with the Flames too tonight.
2 OC? You also? Okay.
Yes.
Edmonton at Vegas.
Good game, Vegas.
Game of the night, I think. Yep. Game of the night. I'm wearing this shirt. I got to go Vegas.
Yeah. Vegas.
Okay, you too. Okay. San Jose at Anaheim, the Battle of California. Are these teams ever going to figure it out? And by the way, it's 1:11 Eastern. Just putting that out there. It's 1:11 Eastern.
It's for me.
Beautiful.
Visualize a positive outcome to your current tough situation. What do you got to lose? Ducks for me.
Sharks for me.
Okay, you can have them. Man, they've just quit. It looks to me like they've quit. Or am I missing something?
They have a little bit. They're just not quite deep enough, but I think they're very exciting. I'm writing about them. I've already written about them for my column for tomorrow. They are very exciting. This is how you want to structure a rebuild, I think. It is completely different than Chicago. Opposite. They're excited. They're optimistic. The Sharks have young players who are playing well. They're in most games. Chicago is just, what are we optimistic about besides Bedard?
I'll tell you what. Sometimes everything goes bad. Like in San Jose, with the Rangers through there on the weekend and the team bus hit Macklin Celebrini's SUV. Did you see that coverage at all? Did you see that?
I didn't.
They were backing out of the parking lot and backed into his SUV. I saw that. Is it fake news? I don't know. But I remember a time we had a game with the Pats in Saskatoon. I want to say it was about 2004. And our bus caught on fire during the game. And it was in the back of the bus. So we were in doing the game, playing the game, so nobody was hurt or anything, but the bus caught fire. And my disc man was melted. That was the era. Here you go, Rod, the black steaming, here's your disc man. For those that don't know what that is, we'll have a lesson later. Look it up.
Yeah.
Use AI. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in, he says, that's definitely a great deal, Golden Corral. I'm getting hungry just listening to you. Oh, you're a senior, bro. Yours is $9.99. So you don't got to worry about what me and Moose had to pay, $13.99 for 3 steaks, 1 taco, and 2 pieces of red velvet cake. Winnipeg Jets at the LA Kings. What are you thinking?
Ooh, great game alert. Jets.
Yeah, me too. You got to go with Jets. You got to go to the Jets until it's not the Jets.
Yep.
That's our picks, everybody. From the crowd, regarding the best deal of the year, Laverne and Swift Current writes in and he says, here might be the best deal of the year. The St. Louis Blues hiring Jim Montgomery. Yeah, and for that reason, he should win GM of the year, Doug Armstrong. Devin in British Columbia. Fraser Lake, BC writes and he says, Roddy for commish. Let's get to work. That was my tweet today when somebody April Fool's that I've been named the new commissioner of the CFL. I said, let's get to work. Some people are getting behind it. And, hey, never say never. The very same Devin writes in and says, go, Jets, go. You know, these games do seem to mean a lot. I feel like, and again, I was talking with the Panthers people this morning. It's not, well, that's the other thing. They know these aren't the games. I don't think they're pushing real hard. Everything right now should be about the playoffs. Not every team is in that mode, but I think the Panthers are. How do you feel about these last 10 games for teams, man? Not everybody's got the same push.
No, you're right. And this is as a team, this is your last chance, really, to tweak and get ready. So some teams kind of, when you're secure, look, whoever you play is going to be tough. Like Ottawa's been rolling. On the other side, St. Louis has been rolling. So, you get into the top spot in the division, you end up playing a wild card team that's been fighting to get in. That's tough, too. Some teams can treat this like a training camp where you can work different line combinations, get other guys in the lineup, figure out what's going to be your right combination for the playoffs. And other teams are just trying to get as many points as they can. They're going balls to the walls, trying to get in. Everybody's different. So it depends on who you're looking at. Some teams, but the big thing, you got to be ready to go come game 1 of the playoffs.
What was the greatest stretch drive in NHL history statistically has kind of tailed off a little bit, but it is what it is. It's still been fantastic. Moose, go have a great Toronto afternoon. Thank you for your efforts.
Very well. You have a good day.
We will tell you the iconic Arash Madani is coming up next to you. If you have any questions for him, send them my way now in the break on the Progressive Insurance text line, 902-518-3033. Switch to Progressive and you could save a bunch. Or in the streaming chat as well, and we'll get him to the man. Canadian Reporter of the Year, Arash Madani joins us next, live here on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Shania Twain.
Let's go, girls.
Live in Moose Jaw. Shania Twain. One incredible show. Live at Temple Garden Center, July 7th. With special guest, Lindsay L. Get tickets Friday, March 21st at 10 a.m. at the Temple Garden Center's box office or sasktix.ca. For more, visit shaniatwain.com.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
We're brought to you in part by Seat Giants. Stop paying U.S. dollars for games and concerts. Canadian owned and operated with Canadians in mind. Super Bowl, college football, Taylor Swift, Justin Timberlake. They've got it all. Use the promo code RPShow for 15% off at checkout. Check him out at seatgiant.ca. The man, the myth, Arash Madani joins us to talk about all of the topics we've talked about today, but not the goofy ones. Arash, good to see you, my dude. And we're going to jump right in because time is precious, as you know. The National Football League owners, well, not owners, GMs and coaches meeting here in Palm Beach. The tush-push vote was supposed to be today. It's been put off. I'm dying to know your take on this phenomenon, the NFL, the tush-push.
Well, what shocked me, Roddy, is that there was a report, I think, from CBS that said it was effectively 50-50, that 16 of the owners voted in favor of banning the brotherly shove, the tush push, the whatever you want to call it, and the others remain on board. I didn't realize it was this contentious. I wonder if the Eagles hadn't won the Super Bowl. I wonder if Philadelphia wasn't in the game at all, if this would even be brought up. You know, if you can't beat them, join them, but they can't stop it, so you're trying to remove it. My only surprise with this wasn't that it was brought up, wasn't that it was voted on, is that it became this kind of contentious this quickly. So that's what really stood out to me.
Well, what stood out to me is you being the Canadian football statesman, if I may. This move, this tactic has been banned in Canadian football forever. It's called tandem blocking. You know, CFL rules are ahead of the NFL in a lot of ways, and this is one. I don't get why it was never tried in the NFL before this and why it wasn't banned if it's so egregious.
I just think the difference between the Canadian game and the American game when it comes to this rule especially is you think about the yard off the ball, Roddy. effectively in the NFL, they're trying to just get that yard. With the CFL, because that yard is given up, that's why kind of in the interior, in that meat grinder of an area, in the A gap and the B gap, that's where the difference is. The other thing that may not get as much pub in all of this is that replay assist has been expanded in the NFL. To me, this is just opening up a can of worms that doesn't need opening. It's just going to make things more convoluted. It's going to make things more controversial. It's going to make coaches apoplectic, and it's going to leave fans. It's the Mike Holmgren line. 50 guys sitting at a bar. What do they think? What's common sense? What's basic? What's smart? And this is just opening up a whole lot of gray in a sport that needs to be a little more black and white. You're inbounds, you're out of bounds. It's roughing the passer, it's not. It's PI, it's not. This is now leaving too much open to interpretation.
Yeah. The thousands of hours have been devoted to this. I just can't believe it, but it's the off season. And they are staying in the news. You and I marveled on that on the phone yesterday. Like the quarterback carousel has been particularly fascinating. The game of musical chairs, and Aaron Rodgers is still prancing around. There's one chair left, maybe two.
And I think he's going to end up there.
Yeah,
I think he's going to end up in Pittsburgh. I think I saw a report from one of the Rooneys talking to a Pittsburgh reporter today, who basically said all signs are pointing in that direction, which makes sense. It is musical chairs. Now, are the Steelers going to go draft a quarterback? Sure. It was Art Rooney II, Jerry Dulac from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. This was his report. Has a good feeling about Aaron Rodgers, and the signs are pointing in that direction. That's the quote, pointing in that direction of him signing with the Steelers. But here's the question, Rod. A few years after drafting Kenny Pickett in the first round, will Pittsburgh go down that road again? Are they going to trade up? Are they going to sit there in the first round and go after somebody in this draft? I think that's really intriguing, because this is not an organization that has really invested first-round picks in that position. Of course, Roethlisberger lasted for them forever. But outside of him, it's Pickett, and I think Cordell Stewart may have been a first-round pick. Not a ton in the history of that franchise.
Well, you don't even really hear anymore about the 2021 first round. Not anymore like we did the Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Eesh. It ain't the road to Canton there, Arash.
No, and keep going, right? That's the point in all this. And Rod, we could dissect all those things, Zach Wilson, good Lord. But the Trey Lance move, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan thinking they had the next Josh Allen, hell-bent in their belief in that. That is ultimately what has led to a number of short-circuiting, short-sighted moves by that organization to try and justify it. And the last brushstroke to this, Rod, is they're going to end up giving Brock Purdy a lot more money than they probably should, because they have to say, we took him in that same draft. We salvaged that draft when they think about kind of presenting that to ownership.
Well, there is a thing called luck in sports. I don't know where I fall on the side of that. They say the harder you work, the luckier you get. Maybe there was some luck involved that Brock Purdy took him to a Super Bowl. It's their deal to fill out. Before I go to baseball, do you have any more NFL or, dare I say, CFL notes before we move on?
Rod, it's the first day of April and the CFL is without a commissioner. Teams go to training camp next month. I just wonder, these last 4 months, what progress has the league made on the business side in anything? Just remaining status quo. What are they doing? This is valuable time being wasted. I get you want to do your due diligence. I get you want to make sure you find the right person. But they decided 6 months ago that they were done with the incumbent. And the fact that it's now April, and there is nobody installed in that chair, doesn't it feel like 2025 is now effectively going to be a write-off? And that happens with a TV broadcast agreement that is vital to the lifeblood of this league, expiring at the end of 26. So that to me is of real intrigue. And my question to the governors out there is, what are you doing? Why is this taking so long? Why are you wasting valuable time? Why wasn't a more expedited, focused process put in place when you decided that you weren't going to bring Ambrosie back? I don't get it.
They must have felt, obviously they didn't have anybody in mind, right, when they made the decision on Ambrosie, and two, that they would get a wealth of tremendous applications, and maybe they have. I've heard they're down to 2 people. Hopefully we find out soon. To baseball, Blue Jays have won 3 of 5. Up and down results, always is. What's your take to this season that's not even a week old?
I'm interested to see on the pitching staff how this is all going to play out. You know, obviously Scherzer's now gone to see a hand specialist. He's going to be out for a little while. I'm just haven't been sold on their bullpen as being reliable coming into this season. Can the starting pitching hold up? You know, 5 games is no sample size. Like I'm of the mindset of the late Sparky Anderson, who said, you know, get to the end of May, be 500 and healthy at the 60 game mark, and then the season starts with 100 games to go. We're not discovering anything about anybody in 5 games in baseball, but I think that, you know, when you take a look at this Jays team, the pathway to victory is going to have to be from their pitching staff. There's going to be a lot of attention on Bo. There's going to be a lot of attention on Vlad, especially as pending free agents. But there wasn't a lot of margin for error in that starting staff. And now with Scherzer out, where does that leave things? I think that's a big question right now.
Jose Barrios gets to start tonight, looking to atone for opening day. I'm sure you're following the Yankees story in the torpedo bats, a MLB record amount of home runs coming out of the opening weekend. It's kind of hard to believe after 100-plus years of baseball that there's something new. But now with technology, it's kind of not that hard to believe. What's your thought of the torpedo bat phenomenon?
Yeah, and the question now is not just the torpedo bat. It's what's next and what's going to follow. And in pro sports is a copycat existence. The Yankees coach who kind of came up with this idea of the torpedo bat that's effectively a bowling pin at the barrel, which is where you want to get contact for power. He's got a background from MIT. He's a scientist. Are we going to, first we saw a lot of analytics and number crunchers entering front offices. Are we now going to see people from, and I'm not exaggerating here, Rod, and I'm not being flippant. Are the next set of hires honestly going to be from the space program? Are they going to be from engineering firms and physics kind of specialists and all those kinds of things? Because that's what this has been. What they hit 13, 15 home runs in the first 3 games, something like that. It makes a lot of sense what they did. It obviously, it falls within the rules of the dimensions of the bat. I just wonder what's next. And I don't have the first damn clue what it is and what it could be. But to me, this isn't the end. To me, this is just the start. And that's what's going to make this all so intriguing.
Yeah. And Aaron Judge yet came out of the weekend with 4 home runs, and he's not using one. Imagine if he does. Right. And I'm remiss to have not asked you about March Madness till now. We haven't spent a lot of time on it on this program. I'm not a NCAA college hoops guy, but I have a sense that you probably have an eye on it. What's your take on at least the men's side, maybe the women's?
Look, 4 number 1 seeds into the Final Four. I haven't seen that since 2008, something like that. Here's what's become interesting, Rod, is that the most marketable players in college basketball, this is now a trend, dare I say, pattern. The most marketable, the most from a endorsement standpoint, the most valuable players in March Madness are on the women's side, and it's not even close. You know, you think about Juju Watkins, even though she's hurt. You think about Paige Beckers. You think about, obviously, what Caitlin Clark was and what Angel Reese was and the rest. They're more identifiable stars than everybody but one in the men's tournament. You know, Cooper Flagg's his own thing. The fact that he has a New Balance deal at a Nike school is just incredible. But from a value standpoint, from a notoriety standpoint, from an Instagram follower standpoint, from a lot of metrics, if you're the biggest star in women's college basketball or among the biggest 5 stars in women's college basketball, you are a bigger marketing opportunity than the top player on the men's side. And that's happened in the last few years. And I don't see that changing in a one and done NIL transfer portal world.
Colt wants to know, we're not overtime. We got about 2 to 3 minutes here, and I want to go over to get your opinion. He wants your take on the new college basketball tournament, i.e. this chalky way this has gone. The number 1 seeds all advancing. No upsets, no Cinderella stories. Just the way it is now. How do you feel about it?
Cole, I understand the question. I just give a little bit of pause on sample size here. You know, we're still 1 year removed from NC State being a first 4 team last year, getting all the way to the Final Four. Let's not forget that. This was a year where you had powerhouses, man. Like, coming into the tournament, there was an argument to be made that Florida was the most complete team, that Auburn was the most explosive team, that Duke was the most dominant team, and that Houston was the most battle-tested team. So I think that we pumped the brakes just a little bit, Cole, on this being an overall thing. But Roddy, I'll also say this. What the SEC have, something like 13 teams represented in March Madness. How many of them got to the Sweet 16? We always think about the SEC as a football school. They struggled when it came to postseason football this past year. They certainly didn't struggle in basketball. Again, small sample size, but I just wonder, in a transfer portal world, when you only need, 2 or 3 players to really tip the scales, is the SEC now the destination for basketball more than it might be for football? That I think is something to keep an eye on.
It's a great answer. I follow the money. I think that this is a trend, not a fad. I think this is the way that it's going, but it is fun to follow. Enjoy the sports, my dude. Thanks for the time, Arash. Don't be a stranger.
Roddy, great to see you, bud. Thanks.
The great Arash Madani checking in from the Big Smoke. Sports update on the way and viewer takeover. Get your questions and comments now. Don't disappoint me now. It's been a great day. 902-518-3033, Progressive Insurance text line. There you go. Switch to Progressive and you could save a bunch. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Honky Tonk legend Mark Chestnut.
How about that?
Celebrating 35 years of music. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, we're back. We're back. What do we got here? 20 minutes. Funny how that happens every day. Have you noticed? We're coming right in for the final 20 minutes of the show. Viewer takeover time. You and me. And trust me, I've proven that I can get through this on my own, but I'd rather talk to you. We're brought to you in part by Landmark Cinemas. Get more of what you love. Free movies and concession items, invites to exclusive screenings, special events, and more with their rewards program, Landmark Extras. There are 3 rewarding programs to choose from that get you something extra with every movie you attend. So check them out at landmarkcinemas.com. I just love me, the movies, and I love Landmark Cinemas especially. Sports update. Stick with me. What do we got here? Oh, on this commissioner thing, Laverne and Swift Current writes and he says, how about co-commissioners, Arash and RP? That was our April Fool's joke. The gentleman on Twitter got it rolling. Jeff Sidian is his handle, that I was the next commissioner of the CFL. A lot of people bid on it. I don't even feel bad. I feel bad when they look at the date, but we got to have a little fun, don't we? But as far as co-commissioners, I think Arash and I can speak for him in saying, we work alone. But it would be great for the CFL to have us in charge. Thank you for the kind comments, everybody, on that interview. Arash does such a great job. He's so smart. Telling the story earlier about our bus catching on fire out front of SaskTel Center in Saskatoon. Just how... when some seasons go bad, they just go really bad. Like with the San Jose Sharks star rookie Macklin Celebrini, his SUV getting backed into by the New York Rangers bus on the weekend. It just throw it on the pile. Hope that it ends soon. I said my CD Walkman got melted on that fire bus fire. John Ohm writes in and says, I have a Walkman. I'm sure you do. It was my Discman that got melted, not my Walkman. Does anybody even have one? Besides John Ohm, which it does not surprise me, he probably still uses it. Sports update. The future of the tush push has been pushed until next month. NFL team owners had been set to vote today on Green Bay's proposal to ban the play that's helped the Eagles win one Super Bowl and reach another, but the proposal was tabled until May. Team owners approved, though, today, modifying the kickoff rule, expanding replay assist, and revising overtime rules, along with other changes. I literally have no idea why this is taking so long and why it's such a big deal. It's banned in Canada. Arash did make the point about the yard off the ball. I understand that. Banned because there could be more injury. I don't know why. I guess they need more studies to be done. Are you following this? Are you bored of it like me or sick of it? Not bored, sick of it. Every single night on SportsCenter, they're talking about it and Get Up. Well, it's for player safety. But nobody's been hurt. Not yet. The decision to postpone the tush push vote means the debate will continue as the league seeks more information about the safety of the play. See, has anybody been hurt? Well, no, but proponents of the play and those who oppose it presented strong arguments while the league's medical experts expressed safety concerns. See the dog chasing its tail? If you smoke what's in this package, this will happen to your face. People still buy it and if you play football, you could get a concussion. If you're worried, don't play. Meanwhile, Steelers owner Art Rooney II says there are positive signs that Aaron Rodgers will play in Pittsburgh. The four-time NFL MVP worked out recently with new Steelers wideout DK Metcalf. After previously visiting the team, Steelers coach Mike Tomlin said Monday that he's staying in touch with Rodgers and is comfortable with Mason Rudolph as the starting quarterback. The Steelers allowed Russell Wilson and Justin Fields to leave in free agency and brought back Rudolph. Pittsburgh hasn't won a playoff game since reaching the AFC title game following the 2016 season. Meanwhile, Kirk Cousins has told the Atlanta Falcons he wants to be a starter, and coach Raheem Morris didn't rule out a trade while reiterating the team intends to keep him as the backup to Michael Penix Jr. Cousins, who signed a 4-year, $180 million contract last March that included $100 million guaranteed, lost his job after struggling in his return from a torn Achilles tendon. Penix started the final 3 games going 1-2, and Atlanta finished 8-9 following a 6-3 start. News from the NBA. Detroit's Isaiah Stewart has been suspended for 2 games by the NBA, and 4 other players from the Pistons and Minnesota Timberwolves drew 1-game suspensions for their roles in an on-court altercation between the teams earlier this week. The league says Stewart got 2 games based in part on his repeated history of unsportsmanlike acts. The NBA handed the 1-game bans to Detroit's Ron Holland II and Marcus Sasser, along with Minnesota's Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo. The sports update is for Heavy Gym. Heavy Gym isn't just about lifting weights. It's about lifting your spirit, your strength, and your potential. Step into the gym that's changing lives. Find out more at heavygym.ca. Would you look at that? We're out of time for this segment. We will come right back with all of your comments in overtime. Make them good. Did you get hooked in an April Fool's joke today like I did? Tell me what it is. Or maybe one that you got people on. 902-518-3033. Progressive Insurance text line. We'll return in a moment for overtime after this. Here on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Shania Twain.
Let's go, girls.
Live in Moose Jaw. Shania Twain. One incredible show. Live at Temple Garden Center, July 7th. With special guest, Lindsay L. Get tickets Friday, March 21st at 10 a.m. at the Temple Garden Center's box office or sasktix.ca. For more, visit ShaniaTwain.com.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Okay, it's very interesting how life goes, isn't it? And I'm going to give you a little update here on mine. I will tell you that Overtime is brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. And I just find out what's going on there through their social media feeds, and you can too, like the $99 monthly membership, unlimited shooting lane time, and all the other wonderful things they have at Overtime Hockey Lanes for just $99. And you can literally go and drop your kid off every day. I've seen parents do it. $99 at Overtime Hockey Lanes. And it doesn't just have to be kids. You yourself could have unlimited lane time for $99 or $9.99 for the year. I'm no mathematician, but I think that's a better deal. Stop in and check them out at 28th Street Northeast. Achieve your hockey goals at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. You can talk about whatever you want here in Overtime because I've burned through the sports update. Oddly enough, we've covered all the topics today that I'd hoped to. It's weird. I know. But the one thing is this April Fool's Day thing, and the gentleman got it going that I was the CFL commissioner, the new one. And Chris is watching in Norquay, Sask, and he writes in and he says, Rod and Wade Miller would clash instantly. Would make of a heck of a reality TV show, though. Wrong, bro. Wade and I have a lot of respect for each other. And as a matter of fact, I think we're the exact same age, oddly enough. We came into the CFL at about the exact same time, and we're in parallel time. And here's what I know about Wade Miller. And for those that don't know, he's the president of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the guy that guided the Bombers to 5 consecutive Grey Cup 5 consecutive Grey Cup appearances, 2 wins to start it all, right? And Wade's a winner. Wade doesn't suffer fools. Wade doesn't have time for nonsense. Guess what? I don't either. Wade's a winner. So am I. Wade and I get along just fine. That's the funny thing about that. Bill checks in from the Queen City. Bill Edwards. He says, "Good morning, all." He's the guy that sent the Ron and Don bobbleheads there. Rich in Edmonton, help me out. And I think he is still watching. I think he's still with us. You said that the Oilers are choosing team health over round 1 home ice. Explain that. Because quite frankly, I'm elbows deep in Florida hockey coverage, not Alberta hockey coverage. It's just where I live. I'm guessing what you're saying is they're sitting some guys out tonight. By the way, there's heavy construction going on just on the other side of this wall. It's a little distracting, but at least we're getting through it, and we got only 6 minutes left. But it doesn't, unless you're betting, which Darren and I made our picks earlier, but I don't have money on the games or anything like that. It doesn't really matter as a fan what these teams are doing, but I think it's so obvious. But I guess a lot of people don't understand. These last 10 games, if you're pretty confident you're going to be in the playoffs, then you're not thinking about positioning. Why is that so hard? It's not like football where you're only playing a game a week, and home field depends a lot more on each particular game. I say that because if the Florida Panthers go into Montreal tonight, I picked Montreal to win. The Habs need it more. I picked Vegas to win tonight. Not that Vegas needs it more. I don't think the Vegas Golden Knights are as concerned about putting a banner up in the rafters as they are winning a Stanley Cup. Same thing with the Florida Panthers. Just tell me what's the deal? Rich in Edmonton answers, players would be playing if it were playoffs. Ekholm, McJesus, Frederick. But at this time, giving them time to fully recover. That's exactly it. So that only affects how you're making one-off game predictions. Let's not say bets. So we're not actually betting. We're picking games. And it's just so you know, I guess it's not that elementary because, again, I got to go back and use a CFL parallel only because I saw it so intimately. And I was lucky that I was in the rooms to see this happen. You know, we had our president, Jim Hobson, stomping down the hallway wanting to know why we weren't playing our A1 roster in the last game of the year because we had a chance to win 13 games. And Ken Austin's like, we're not doing it, the head coach. And here's why. We don't want to risk injury. We're going after a Grey Cup, not to win 13 games. And Jim's like, all right. We had to tell our president. No, the coaches had to tell the team president this is why we're doing it. But at least he didn't stick his nose in and say, play those guys, because some owners do. And that, you know, when I do write my book, and all CFL fans will love it. You don't just have to be a Rough Rider fan, but it reminds me of, I was thinking about this the other day, the infamous Dudney incident when 3 of our players were charged with assault. I do it like that because they beat up drug dealers, so I thought that they should have gotten a Purple Heart. But those players were charged. It was a big deal at the time, and I remember our president stomping down into the general manager's office this time, Brennan Taman, and saying, why you got these guys playing this week? They've been charged with assault. And Brennan's like, well, we think that they're good guys. They're important in the locker room, and we think that, you know, they're innocent of any. All right, but I don't like it. Now they played, and we won, and we went on to win a Grey Cup. So the point is, let the coaches coach and let the managers manage. That's what goes on here in Florida, and it works. It does not go on with the Panthers. And I do think that it goes, it definitely must go on with the Lightning too, because they're on a run, and you look at this race atop the Atlantic Division. I'm pretty sure if the owner of the Lightning, Jeff Vinik, had his way, Steven Stamkos would still be a member of the Lightning. I'm sure if our Toronto viewers just perked up because he's a Toronto kid. But Julien Brisebois, the general manager, felt that it was time to let him go. So they did, and look where the Lightning are, and Stamkos is struggling in Nashville. You just got to let the people do their thing. And obviously Chris Knobloch feels that this is the lineup that they need to suit up tonight because they're not battling for a playoff spot, and they aren't battling for positioning per se. It wouldn't hurt if LA lost to the Jets, too. You still need some help on the scoreboards. BW says, see you tomorrow. Busy day in North Dakota. Be safe there in North Dakota. Thanks for checking in, BW. Rich in Edmonton says, many drives along Dewdney back in the day. Had a cousin live just off of it. Yes, it's a very hallowed and legendary part of town. Back in the old Queen City. Well, everybody, thanks for letting us entertain you today. I hope you've had a good time. Thank you, Gary, for the final score. Canada 8, Sweden 6 in the morning draw at the World Men's Curling. I'll have a good afternoon now. Tonight, going to announce Seniors Night at the Wellington baseball game. So check out my social media channels for that. And thanks to Arash, thanks for Clark for bringing it all together. Thanks for Moose for what he does on a daily basis. Take care of yourself and each other, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Who has more fun than us?